Welcome all soldiers to the Fantasy Football War Council's podcast. Here are your co-hosts, Jonathan Arneson and Daniel Gutierrez.
Hello and welcome back, soldiers, to another episode of the Fantasy Football War Council. I'm your host, Jonathan, and joined with me is my good friend and co-host, Daniel. Daniel, it's football time.
Football's back!
Oh, yeah, it's football time. It's Christmas time.
It's Christmas. I've been giddy all week. I've been holding it in because I've been working and don't want to flood my wife too soon with all of my football talk, but it's been difficult.
It was the best feeling to sit down and watch the actual kickoff and just everything release, and it was, it's football.
I stood for the kickoff.
Yeah, I released too during the kickoff, yeah.
There might have been a tear.
Yeah. Oh, man, so excited. So, we have a special episode today. We have two guests. We have our previous manager from our Civil War League and current runner-up in our Star Wars Fantasy Football League, Jess.
Hey guys, thank you so much for having me on, even though I know very little, but still kick your asses every year.
Well put. And we also have the current champion of the Star Wars Fantasy Football League, and her team is the Uterus S. Grant. And we have the first family on, really, of our Fantasy Football Leagues here. This is Chas Arneson.
Hi, guys. Thank you for having me on as well. I'm excited to be here.
First family was your brother, by the way. I know.
Well, I figured you guys are both champions in each league, so...
Not family during fantasy time.
You're champion in this one, she's champion in the other one. So, not, I know it's Civil War League, but I'm not talking that kind of family. Your husband and wife, you're still family, right?
Not when we're going head to head.
It's a champion household, so...
That's right.
So today we have a full episode. We're going to go over the Civil War Fantasy Draft, and we're going to discuss our opinions on how each team drafted, and then after that we're going to go with our second power rankings. But first, the news.
All right, first bit of news. Ryan Shazier officially retires. I'm so glad that he's able to walk again. Sad that he wasn't able to get to the point of playing again, which was always a long shot, but I'm so glad that he's going to be able to actually have a bit of normalcy in the rest of his life after his catastrophic spine injury. So good. Hope the best for him. Good for him. And, I hope that the rest of his life works out very well.
Loved watching him dance at his wedding. To see that was awesome.
Yeah.
Brought a tear to my eye.
That was awesome.
Next up, Von Miller dislocated his perennial tendon in his ankle. He is having surgery today, and it is ending his season. What does this do to Denver's defense? What do you think, Daniel?
Well, it definitely hurts their edge threats. Now they're going to have to really lean on Chubb, who kind of regressed and had some injury issues last year. So, and they don't have Harris there also. I think this is a year that they're kind of built their offense, so they're going to be leaning their offense a lot more than their defense. Unfortunately, they couldn't take a step together, so I think that kind of tanks Denver's ceiling of how good they could be this year.
Yeah, it does hurt that defensive front a bit. So,
yeah. And a former Buccaneer first-round pick from 2008, when this league first started, Aqib Talib officially retires, and unfortunately, he was a Super Bowl champion with the Denver Broncos rather than the Buccaneers, but all's fair in free agency and all.
Yeah, I put the little snippet here that in 2008, our first year of the Civil War League, I drafted him as my 19th round pick. I thought that was a cool little history pick. So
awesome.
Jalen Ramsey gets his contract extension, $105 million, $71 million guaranteed at signing. Is he the best corner in the NFL?
I don't know who you'd put above him. Well, Stephon Gilmore, I guess you'd put above him. He's the only guy that locks him down one-on-one. I think Jalen Ramsey's the best young talent in the league at corner right now. Tre'Davious White is another one that just got an extension as well, and he is pretty good. I think the Rams made him happy. I think he's a lot better in LA than when he was in Jacksonville. What do you think?
I mean, is he the new Revis Island? I mean, he's a pretty talented kid. His shutdown ratio is 91%. I mean, he shuts down 91% of the time. That is pretty good for a corner. So,
Yeah, I think he got paid for trajectory.
yes, definitely. And hopefully the Rams do well with it, but they're starting to run out of money. So, got to watch those pockets.
Absolutely. And in some bad news, Dylan Hunter is undisclosed IR. So he's out for 3 weeks. Since it's undisclosed, I think it might be COVID related because the NFL is not actually stating whether or not it's COVID. And if it's a short IR, it makes me kind of think that. But they're going to miss him dearly in week 1 against Green Bay.
Oh, yeah. He had a sack in each game versus Green Bay last year. So, I hope Marty replaces him off of his list because he had him this year. So,
Yeah, that's right.
last night was football, Thursday night football, Kansas City at Houston. What a great game! What a great game!
For Kansas City.
Well, I mean, their rookie Clyde Edwards-Helaire came out and had a phenomenal game last night.
He did.
Your first round draft pick.
That's right. And Dynasty, so he'll be mine for a while. But I think that the biggest takeaway from that game is just the glaring mistakes that Houston has made on their offense. The best part of their offense was their running back pickup, and David Johnson's play on Thursday night was probably the best part of their offense. But when you're down by 14, 17 points, that's not going to get you anywhere, and that's going to be a problem for them as the season moves on.
No, you need to be able to stretch that field, and David Johnson was the only part of that offense. So I'm glad I had him on my team, and
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing how he runs that offense this year. So, all right, well, let's dive into the teams. We're going to run the order of our first power rankings that we did from our second episode, so you have a reference for today's power rankings. Our first team was our returning champion, the most hated team in the league, the SC Slave Runners. And to read my team, I will let my wife read off my team.
All right. To start off for the SC Slave Runners, Jonathan's team, we've got Kyler Murray, Christian McCaffrey, Josh Jacobs, Devin Bush, Jonathan Taylor, Travis Kelce, Kenny Golladay, DJ Moore, John Brown, David Johnson, Cam Akers, Terry McLaurin, Henry Ruggs, Mecole Hardman, Matt Prater, Kansas City Defense, Isaiah Simmons, and Levante David. And looking at this team, I just want to start off by saying I married the champion, therefore I'm going to consider myself a champion by association. So looking at this team, trying hard to find some kind of criticism, the only thing that stands out is that he only has 3 IDP spots. And so it might be a little bit difficult in a bye week because he doesn't have any obvious choices to go ahead and drop. Maybe Mecole Hardman, but still going to be a difficult week for him there. Jess, what do you think? Ladies first.
I mean, the only thing that I can really add to this is just Christian McCaffrey. He is my boy. He was my keeper for my league. I really hope that he does as good this year as he did last year, so we'll see. But yeah, looks solid.
He's a solid 10, and he plays football too.
Yeah, I think it's a very solid team. His starters are the best in the league, I feel, and he's also, mining for his next generation of talent with the rookies that he's picked up. So he's thinking for future, and he's dominating now. And there's not much more that you could really compliment about, a dynasty fantasy team. It's top tier.
I could not agree more.
Yeah, well, it pains me to say.
It brings a smile to my.
Yeah.
It really does. It brings a smile to the face every time I look at it.
Oh, yeah.
It's a pretty team.
Yikes.
It's a pretty team. I've already had people wanting to come and trade. So Cam Akers has already been proposed to. Somebody wants Cam Akers from me, so that's okay.
Yeah, so the second in the power ranking, we have the Union Ambush, who is managed by Jose. He's got Deshaun Watson, Michael Thomas, Chris Goodwin, Alvin Kamara, Melvin Gordon, Evan Engram, Adam Thielen, Tarek Cohen, AJ Green, Matt Breda, Aaron Rodgers, and I will just say he's very yummy, Marvin Jones, Jake Elliott, Baltimore defense, Jamal Adams, Shaq Thompson, Joey Bosa, and Landon Collins. What do we think, Jess?
Looking at his team, he's got 2 top-tier wide receivers and running backs. Deshaun Watson, though very talented, I think that team in general is going to have a bit of a struggle this season without the great DeAndre Hopkins. We saw it a little bit last night in the Thursday night game, but we shall see. What do you guys think?
I agree. I think Deshaun Watson's not going to be ranked as high this year because he doesn't have Nuke. Michael Thomas, very good. Alvin Kamara, very good. Same bye week. Kind of struggle with this, but I really like the rest of his team. Godwin, Melvin Gordon's going to have a good year in Denver. Evan Ingram kind of scares me. I held on to him all last year, and he struggled a lot with injury. So this one kind of gets me. Good backup with Aaron Rodgers, though. And he's got a pretty studly defensive core as well. What do you think, Daniel?
I agree with pretty much everything you said. I think Deshaun Watson, I think he's got a very limited ceiling this year with his receiver core, unless if they're doing nothing but passing it to David Johnson, but that's going to get old real fast. Michael Thomas, one of the best receivers in the game, PPR monster. Even with the addition of Emmanuel Sanders, I think he's still just going to be the main target share. If anything, he might have more receptions, even though he just broke the record, because they're going to have to pull the safety over to Emmanuel Sanders' side to make sure he doesn't take the top off the defense. Chris Godwin's going to be a PPR monster. Alvin Kamara's great. Melvin Gordon's the only thing that scares me a little bit because he is going to be in a share backfield with Philip Lindsay in Denver. Same with Evan Ingram. He's got a high ceiling but a really, really low floor. And his second string are pretty solid too. I think it's a decently solid team. I also think we probably gave Jess the hardest team to read with all of the names on this one too. That was
Thank you. I was like struggling so hard. I'm like, what is happening here?
Our next team is Can't Cut the Custard. The manager is Andy. He has Russell Wilson, Tyreek Hill, Julio Jones, Saquon Barkley, Chris Carson, Tyler Higbee, Le'Veon Bell, Juju Smith-Schuster, Kareem Hunt, Kerryon Johnson, Deebo Samuel, Matthew Stafford, Mike Gesicki, Robbie Gould, Buffalo Defense, TJ Watt, Chandler Jones, and Budda Baker. What do you think about this team, Jess?
You know, I don't have a whole lot to say. I just, I like Andy, so I hope his team does well. I don't know.
I like him too, but I'm not, I don't as much. A lot of solid players. Nobody, jumps out to me that's overly exciting. Maybe Julio Jones and Tyreek Hill. I think Kansas City's got so many weapons that Tyreek Hill's not going to be a dominant threat. Of course, high scorer, but Saquon Barkley, I still remember. I was right behind him the year he drafted that, and I was so upset, but good for him. What do you guys think?
This is a scary team. This is a very good team. I mean, Russell Wilson always seems to finish in the top 5. Julio Jones is always a very good wide receiver. I mean, as you were telling me the other day, Daniel, how that offense runs, that was very mind-blowing to hear how the defense just follow Julio around the field.
Yeah, it's hilarious to watch. I feel bad for Julio. He probably runs more than any other receiver in the league just because it opens up everything else in their offense. And, Tyreek Hill is big boomer bust. Julio Jones is, I think, the best receiver in the league. That's a high compliment. He's got 2 running backs, RB1 potential. You don't see any chinks in the armor until you get down to the bench. And so if all of these guys in the starting lineup play up to their potential, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. But after that, you start to see some issues. Kareem Hunt's got a timeshare. Kerryon Johnson, they just signed Adrian Peterson, and they're saying that they're putting a lot on his plate. So there's all of that Stafford has potential to play. So there's all of that.
Yeah, it's definitely a solid team. It's a very scary team. He's got some good defensive players. I mean, he's got starters in every position, and even his backups are some studly characters. I mean, I know some of them have a fight for positions, but there's not really names on this list that scare me. So I'm pretty happy with his team. Our next team finished fourth in our rankings was Rogers Hard War. Raj phoned in half the draft while he was sleeping. Dak Prescott, DeAndre Hopkins, Odell Beckham, Dalvin Cook, Nick Chubb, Zach Ertz, Devin Singletary, Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, Cam Newton, Jerry Jeudy, Noah Fant, Greg Zuerlein, New England defense, Tremaine Edmonds, Bobby Wagner, Kenneth Murray, and Myles Garrett. I mean, he got the best grade from Yahoo in our draft, and I know that we drafted the first, 8 or 9 picks. He picked up around CeeDee Lamb. I was a little upset that he grabbed that CeeDee Lamb right before me, but, he woke up in time, so good for him. Yeah, he has a pretty solid team. Jazz?
Very true. Now, I think on Raj's team, there's a theme, which is the Dallas Cowboys, which was intentional because he is the biggest Giants fan. So since he phoned in the draft, we wanted to give him as many players that he would hate to watch as possible. And I do believe that we have achieved that. And I give us an A+ for that in drafting his team from Yahoo, too. So I do worry about his depth at wide receiver since half of them are the Dallas Cowboys, but he does have a pretty solid team.
You're welcome, Raj.
I think he needed a defensive player from Dallas as well, but that's just me.
We tried to give him Van Der Esch, but he got drafted right before him.
Yeah, looking at this team, it does scare me a bit, especially when I have to play him. I did notice there are a handful of Cowboys on the team. I personally am hoping Zeke's going to steal the show and take some touches away from Dak, Gallup, and Lamb, but we'll see how that goes. He does have 2 very exciting rookie wide receivers. I don't know how he snagged them both. Let's see how that one plays out. What are your thoughts, Jess?
I don't have a whole lot to say on this because, again, you're talking to the girl who just looks on Yahoo and picks off of colors. But one thing I will say is I don't know about the pick for Odell. He had a rough year and is on a rough team this year, so I'm interested to see how that plays out. What about you, Daniel?
I love it. I do love it. It doesn't take all the knowledge. Jess. It doesn't take all the knowledge and the stats. It's what you do during the year. You do not win your championships at the draft. So,
May I mention something?
Yes.
Back to your comment on not knowing, everything. I'm by no means a, fantasy football analyst, but when I know a player or I recognize their name and position and all that, they've done something great. But when there's a name on there, I have nobody who they are, then no, I think they're probably going to be garbage, in my opinion.
Yep. I love that. I'll just say this too. I love that the 2 girls that just kind of just go with the flow are quite frequently in the championship game. I just want to say that. That's so fun.
Indeed. All right. Next up on our power rankings, number 5, Boston Teabaggers, managed by Daniel. He basically drafted the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but I'll go ahead and read off the team anyway. Tom Brady,
You guys are so cool.
Mike Evans, A.J. Brown, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Kenyon Drake, Ronald Jones, Cortland Sutton, Deontay Johnson, Zach Moss, Leonard Fournette, Ryan Suckup, Tampa Bay defense, Devin White, Jalen Smith, Demario Davis, and Patrick Queen. So this team says very high potential, particularly if Tampa does well. Bye week is going to be very rough. I want to congratulate Yankee Raiders on a probable win in that week 13. It's going to be very exciting to see how Clyde Edwards-Helaire develops on Casey. He's already done great so far. I think Leonard Fournette was a steal off the waiver wires as well. Jess, what do you think?
I think that there's something to be said. There is a theory out there that drafting a team that has all of the same bye week is a way to go. So I'm interested to see how it works out for Daniel. I'm rooting for you, Daniel. I hope it goes well. We'll see.
Well, thank you very much. I do have to say about the bye weeks, the most unfortunate thing about that is I was like, I'm drafting Tampa players, so I really don't care about any other bye week because I know that's going to be my worst bye week. Week 8 is actually going to be my worst bye week. I have more on bye on week 8 than I do on week 13, and half of my damn team are Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So that's going to be pretty interesting.
Do I play you week 8, I hope?
I have to look and see who plays me week 8. But week 8 and week 13 definitely are not looking good for me. But I love my team. I'm going to be rooting for them all year. I've never just basically drafted who I thought my team was going to be, or drafted Buccaneers. And I'm definitely looking forward to it. Let's see. Week 8. I am playing you, Chas.
Oh, whoo!
Congratulations.
Phew, I'm excited.
That's unfortunate.
As a Buccaneer fan, I'm rooting for you too, but I don't want you to win this year. So, down, boy. Down, boy. That's a very good team you got there, Daniel. I have to say, you did steal a couple players before me. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was a very good pick at your number 4 spot, or number 3 spot. And you got some really good pickups there with Zach Moss, waiver wire of the week, possibly, with Leonard Fournette, and to recoup with Ryan Suckup after dropping Matt Gay is very smart.
All right, so next up on our original power rankings is ranked number 6, Uterus S. Grant, by the one and only manager, Chas, rooting for this team this year. She drafted Josh Allen, Amari Cooper, Calvin Ridley, Ezekiel Elliott, Austin Eckler, Jared Cook, DJ Chark, David Montgomery. I know, right? Marquise Brown, AJ Dillon, Jarvis Landry, Chris Thompson, Kaimi Fairbairn, Pittsburgh defense. Oh, shame on your chest. Deion Jones, Zach Cunningham, Shaquille Barrett, and Eric Kendricks. I don't know, Chess. What do you think of this team?
Well, I personally think this is a solid team, top notch, reckon to be forced with. Amari Cooper is one pick that scared me a bit. I did not have a first round pick. I think I picked him up 3rd or 4th. So at that spot, he was a great pickup. But as a player, I'm not fully convinced on him. So that's a downside for me, or potential downside. Hopefully not. I think Shaq Barrett is going to be great. That was something that was mentioned previously on a tag. I had him last year on a waiver wire. He surpassed his weekly predictions almost every week. So I hope he's going to be a sleeper pick for me, but we shall see. What do you guys think?
I think it's a solid team. Honestly, going through this league, this is the scariest team. I think that the weak link is Amari Cooper.
Agreed.
Because you just don't know what the Cowboys' offense is going to be like. But you still have DJ Chark, Marquise Brown, Jarvis Landry, receivers with high upside on your team as well. So if Cooper doesn't pan out, you still have a solid another at least receiver 2 coming up. Ezekiel Elliott's solid, feed the beast, feed the Ewok, and Austin Eckler. I think honestly when Rivers was there last year and Melvin Gordon was holding out, it was Christian McCaffrey, Austin Eckler, and then everybody else as far as running backs. So I think that was an extremely smart tag of yours. I think he's going to be phenomenal this year. Tyrod Taylor's known for dumping it off to running backs as well. And, I root for the guy too. He's an undrafted free agent and worked his way up. So that's really good. Yes, I did slam your Shaq Barrett pick, but I think he was your best tag. I am a Tampa Bay fan. I think Barrett's going to be fantastic. I do think he's going to see a little bit of regression, but I still think he's going to be a phenomenal player worth, a starting roster spot every week. What about you, John?
hard to go off of that many sacks guaranteed each year. So yeah, I mean, there could be some regression in the sacks, but he could get more tackles. So I'm excited to see how he does as well. But again, that's my heart talking as a Buccaneer fan. The rest of this team scares the hell out of me. This is a team to reckon with this year. The one weak spot is Amari Cooper, agreed, but he does have some boom points on him. I mean, he put up some games last season that did help carry me to my championship. So I can't fault on him that much. Calvin Ridley's going to have an amazing season this season in Atlanta. Really excited. She did acquire Ezekiel Elliott from me as well. Thank you for that first round pick. But this is a solid team, and she's got a nice young rookie there in AJ Dillon to progress into a future tag possibly with those leg of tree stalks. I mean, he's literally a walking tree. So
Yeah, most definitely.
Solid oak.
You say he's got wood everywhere he goes. Yeah, I agree. I think this is one of the teams that has absolutely the highest ceiling, and that's what's scary. If it plays out to its potential, it might be you two in the championship this year. Next team is Three Sheets to the Wind, which is my brother Mario, previous guest host. He drafted Matt Ryan, Robert Woods, T.Y. Hilton, Miles Sanders, Aaron Jones, Todd Gurley, Justin Jefferson, Brandon Cooks, Philip Lindsay, Will Lutz, Indianapolis defense, which I think is a sneaky good pick, Raekwon Smith, Christian Kirksey, Jordan Hicks, Chase Young, Cameron Jordan, and Nick Bosa. What do you think, Chas?
Looking at his team, he does have a lot of defensive players, probably 2 to 3 too many. He might have been able to get some backup wide receivers or running backs that could have served him better, but we shall see. He does have a great running back core. Todd Gurley scares me a bit. He has the talent, but can his knee hold out? Going back to what I was saying, if I have no idea who a player is, I have no confidence in him. Justin Jefferson, I have known nothing about. He must be a rookie. So that one's potential flex, if anything, in my opinion.
I mean, this is
What do you guys think?
solid team. Go ahead.
I do. I think it's a solid team. Justin Jefferson, I think, is a possible. He is a rookie. He is in Minnesota. They've been saying very good things about him in camp, and Mike Zimmer's a coach that is an OBS coach. So if you're hearing that from him, it's true. I don't know if he's gonna be a top wide receiver this year, but he might be, worth a flex spot and then go through. But I think he's searching for tags on this team also. I think his running back room is super solid, and I think he's a little light on wide receiver and quarterback, and real heavy on defense. 3 defensive ends. With our scoring, linebacker is definitely the safer picks, but some defensive ends are really, really good, and it really depends on the kinds of seasons that they're having, but it's less likely. What do you think, John?
This is a very solid team. The thing that gets me is he does have way too many defensive players. He needed to get some extra running backs or wide receivers in there. And to look at it, I would say wide receiver. I mean, yes, Justin Jefferson has the potential to do really well. Brandon Cooks was very non-existent last night in the game. Robert Woods is kind of him and T.Y. Hilton. There is core wide receivers that are going to sit there all season. He needs to find something better on the waiver wire, I think. I like Miles Sanders. I think he's very talented. I liked him coming out of Penn State. I really liked his drop into Philadelphia. He needs to stay healthy, though. I know he's dealing with an injury right now. Aaron Jones is going to have a really good year. Mark Andrews was a phenomenal pickup, and I really have faith in Todd Gurley, even in that knee. But I don't have as much faith in Philip Lindsay, though. I think Melvin Gordon's going to take that job. So drop a defensive player or two. I think you need a wide receiver. Our next team is rank 8, Stonewall Your Face. This is managed by Ali. Got Patrick Mahomes, Devontae Adams, Allen Robinson, Mark Ingram, Jordan Howard, Hunter Henry, Stephon Diggs, Will Fuller, Drew Brees, Emmanuel Sanders, Marlon Mack, Antonio Gibson, great waiver wire pickup to be honest, Raquel Armstead, Justin Tucker, San Francisco defense, Los Angeles Rams defense, Joe Schobert, Corey Littleton, and Darius Leonard. Chas, what are your thoughts?
I think Ollie has a solid quarterback and wide receiver positions covered. Where I think his team is lacking a bit is in the running back spot. Raquel is competing against Chris Thompson. I personally, having Chris Thompson on my team, hope he wins out. Marlon Mack is in the fire and likely to lose out on some snaps to Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor's pretty exciting this year, so we will see how that plays out. I love Allen Robinson, not just because he's a Bear. I actually was debating picking him up myself, but I went the David Montgomery route instead. So we will see how that pans out.
I don't know, just
Jess,
looking
what do
at
you
this
think?
team, I always find it interesting when someone chooses to draft two defensive teams. That's not something that I would necessarily do. I would use that spot for just a backup for another position, but we'll see how it goes for him. I mean, really, honestly, what the heck do I know? So
That's a very good point, Jess. Actually, out of my 8 teams this year, I've only did that in one league, and I felt a little weird doing it. So, gotta be honest, it is a little odd to do 2 defensive teams, but it is an extra bench spot, so things you sacrifice for.
yeah. What about you? What do you think, Daniel?
Marlon Mack, it's going to go. I think Jonathan Taylor's going to take over by the end of the season, but I think Marlon Mack's going to be good early season play. I think he is weaker on the running back side of things. He's got solid quarterback, obviously, with Patrick Mahomes and wide receivers. Antonio Gibson was a great waiver wire pickup. I bought into some of the grief that was coming out of Washington for a day and dropped him in this league particularly, and I actually picked up Zach Moss. And I regret that decision because I think he's going to be the bell cow in Washington. They're just trying to distract from that. So I fell for that one in this league, unfortunately, even though I have him in every other Dynasty league. And same thing. It's very strange. 2 defenses, especially with the caliber of defense that he has on both of them. I mean, you just roll with San Francisco defense. I don't know why he did the Rams as well. It was definitely different.
All right. Moving on, in our number 9th power rankings, we've got Lincoln's Renegades, managed by Jared, Lamar Jackson, Cooper Kupp, DK Metcalf, Joe Mixon, Latavius Murray, Rob Gronkowski, Darren Waller, DeAndre Swift, J.K. Dobbins, Larry Fitzgerald, Golden Tate, Brandon Ayuk, Harrison Butker, New Orleans Defense, Quan Alexander, Anthony Walker, Leighton Vander Esch, and Fred Warner. So starting off on this manager's team, Jared did not have a first-round pick. I know how rough that was, buddy. Me neither. Therefore, his second pick was very vital. I believe going Gronk was a mistake there, particularly because he could have picked him up much later in the draft. There is some potential upside for Gronk. He's one of those all-out players, but he does get hurt. He's a huge gamble at this point, but he's also got Darren Waller on his team, who's also a solid tight end. So I think might be lacking in some other positions due to that alone. So what do you guys think?
Good point. Very good point. I mean, as I stare at this team, Daniel, you and me have the same thoughts. Really great quarterback. He has some really stellar IDP. His defensive players are really great. But I'm having a hard time finding anything to do with his offensive positions. I mean, he did have a chance to go something better. He went Rob Gronkowski with his first pick. I mean, you and me both like Rob Gronkowski, but again, at that second pick, he could have had a better wide receiver than DK Metcalf or Cooper Kupp. I know he's a Rams fan, though, so those kind of hit close to home. His best offensive player is Joe Mixon. I mean, Swift is not going to be a later of the year. Dobbins not until later in the year when they have to win their position battles. I mean, Brandon Ayuk, and good rookie, gonna do well, but got to see these people roll into their positions first, and he didn't have the security to do that.
I don't have much to say on this team, but I will point out this is not having to do with necessarily how you've drafted, but I will point out he's got Fred Warner, who is someone that I actually drafted in my league. I don't have a lot to say about the player, but it's just interesting because he's the first player that has come up as possibly being affected by COVID holds, which I just think is going to play out so interesting this season. It's just going to be an interesting year. And it kind of might be fun for the teams that drafted a lot of rookies. Like if you have a lot of holdouts for COVID, then Might get to see a lot of people play that we wouldn't otherwise have seen. So that's all I've got to say.
Good point.
Absolutely. I think it's Lamar Jackson, Joe Mixon, and his defense, and you could pretty much just say no to everybody else. Cooper Kupp's a wide receiver 2, solid wide receiver 2, but he's not a wide receiver 1, at least previously. DK Metcalf, he's going to have to take a large step forward. Latavius Murray is barely going to get any shares with Alvin Kamara there like he did last year. He barely got anything. Gronkowski with the second round when he could have picked up any number of other receivers, it was definitely, we all benefited from that pick of his. And then picking up Darren Waller later on in the draft, I think personally Darren Waller's going to do better than Gronkowski this year, but he was able to get him much, much later. DeAndre Swift went down the depth chart because they picked up Adrian Peterson in Detroit. J.K. Dobbins was listed 4th on the depth chart as far as starters are concerned in Baltimore this morning. Larry Fitzgerald, with all of the other weapons, he's a chain mover, but you can't count on him for being, great. Golden Tate's a wide receiver 2 or 3. Brenda Ayuk missed half of the offseason because of injuries. This is just a team with a lot of holes, and I have a lot of concerns for him.
Yeah, definitely. I pointed out to him that he needed some help, and there was some waiver wire help there the other day while he was here for the Thursday night game, and he missed out on snagging Boston Scott. So there was, talks in camp. Boston Scott's doing really well, and with Miles Sanders possibly being with an injury, Boston Scott's going to see a little more playtime on the field. So things like that you got to take the chance on, right? So.
Yep.
I found as I was going through our history books in Yahoo, I did find some funny little snippets, and it pointed out the first 2 seasons of this manager's record were 0-14 and 0-14 and a tie. So, it's nothing new to us. But...
So you've definitely improved, Jared, so that's something.
Yeah, definitely is. And our number 10 team.
Yes, that's going to be Martin's team, the Yankee Raiders. So Martin drafted Carson Wentz, Tyler Lockett, Devontae Parker, James Conner, Derrick Henry, George Kittle, Raheem Mostert, Julian Edelman, James White, Tyler Boyd, Daniel Jones, Frank Gore, Mason Crosby, Chicago defense, Blake Martinez, Danny Trevathan, Daniel Hunter, and KJ Wright. What do y'all think?
I think all around decent lineup. Looks like he phoned it in a bit.
More like he fell asleep on the job.
Right. Solid looking IDP, although he did just lose Danielle Hunter to the undisclosed IR. He needs to put him in the IR spot and pick up his next defensive stud.
Yeah, this is definitely a Marty team. He loves his Tyler Lockett pick. When you get a all-around wide receiver that does punt and kickoff returns, these are gold mine to Martin. He loves them. So he's got James Conner, Derrick Henry. He tagged Kittle. We kind of made fun of the pick, but it is George Kittle. He did get Mostert. He's got his shirt at home. He's going to wear Mustard. He's going to shout it all season. So I did notice that he just dropped Frank Gore, though. So, losing the Infinity Stone. I don't know.
Yeah, looking at this team, there's not much that scares me, I think his running back core is good with James Conner and Derrick Henry. They have very high potential, but they also have a really low floor. I think this team just has such a low floor that I'm like, okay, yeah, that's nice, because of that, I think he's a little lower on our power rankings. But the most dangerous person on his team is Kittle and Henry, I feel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, nothing about the team really jumps out that really says amazing. He's got a tight end. That's great. Should your tight end?
What about Chicago defense?
Okay, Chicago's got a good defense.
Gotta throw that in there. Don't forget the Bears.
Yeah.
Well, they're projected to be much higher than Tampa defense, so there's that for them.
Yeah, but Carson Wentz doesn't scare me. He's glass. James Conner, he's got to stay healthy. He's glass. I like Devontae Parker. But are we going to get a good Ryan Fitzgerald? Are we going to get a bad Ryan Fitzgerald? Are we going to get Tua? So we have no idea what's going on in Miami. James White could be a good one.
I do like Julian Edelman, but then without Tom Brady, who knows?
Yeah, Cam Newton. Cam Newton's throwing to him now, so it's going to be an interesting thing there. So, all right. Well, those were the teams, our opinions on those teams. Now we're going to move on to our Power Rankings 2.0. This is actually exciting. We take the time to grade and rank the teams, the powerhouse of teams that we have in this league. And we essentially took what we did from our second episode, and we sat down, looked at the teams, and did the numbers. And we have a new order. So our first team, I don't think it's any surprise. It's the SC Slave Runners. Ranked 1 last time, ranked 1 again.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to be not ranked number 1 when you've got solid tags and 3 first-round picks. So,
Indeed.
way to pound the phone and
Yes.
and plan ahead. And pains me to say that you're in that spot.
I am playing chess while you guys all play checkers. So,
Well,
luck.
we all bicker more like.
I like it. Our second team. This was a hard spot. I mean, this was a really hard spot. We changed a couple teams in and out of here, but can't cut the custard. Was ranked 3 last time. Now he's ranked 2.
Yeah, I think he's got a solid team. He's got 2 possible wide receiver 1s, 2 possible RB 1s, and his starting lineup's just so solid. He's got high scoring defensive players, so he's just dangerous. I think he's going to be a high scoring team every week, and it's only going to be if somebody has an off week. If you're going to be able to beat his team.
Definitely. He's got a stellar team. Our third team, I wanted to put this team up higher, but I mean, there was some David Montgomery issues this week, but now he's healthy and back to being full status. But Uterus S. Grant, ranked 6 in our last power rankings, now 3rd.
Yeah, I agree with moving her up. I think that, like we said earlier, I think this is honestly the team probably with the highest ceiling besides yours. And it's solid, and it doesn't have a very low floor also. So I think she's the scariest team when you're playing because you might get beat by 50 points.
Yeah. Those are big blowouts that we're going to be looking at this season. So,
Yeah.
4th on the list, was 4th last week. Now he's 4th this week. Rogers Hardwar.
Yeah, still the same. Everything panned out as far as his running back tags. He's got a strong wide receiver and quarterback core. He's just got an all-around solid team. Between 2, 3, and 4, I think it's like razor edge in competition. These are all very solid teams.
Yeah, really nice to have your tags show up and not hold out anymore, right? That's a comfortable feeling.
Yeah,
So.
that's right.
This next team, very average, very middle of the league. He was ranked 2 in our last power rankings because he held some draft picks, but he's now ranked 5. Union Ambush.
Yeah, I think we just feel that this team is weak at running back. Every team above them is just so strong, like I said earlier, having multiple possible top 10 players in wide receiver and running back. And I just don't feel like this team does. I think they have solid, wide receiver core and question marks at running back. So they kind of brought him down.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. Our next team, you were ranked 5th in last week's power rankings, Daniel. You are now 6th, the Boston Teabaggers. I think you would have had a better job if Fournette stayed in Jacksonville, but you made a good pickup. He's going to do well in Tampa. I know you don't feel that, but I totally do. He's going to be solid. You got a very solid team, high ceiling, but a low floor, so you could bottom out. But you got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, so here's your future tag this season.
Yay!
Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
CE8. CE8.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Silent H.
So I'm sitting at 7 again. He was 7 last week. He's 7 this week. 3 sheets to the win. Mario's team.
Yeah, I think what we discussed is he's strong at running back and weak at wide receiver and defensive players. His IDP he has so many of them, but I don't think that they're high scoring players. So he definitely needs to pound the waiver wire as we go forward. And if you get some gems, he could definitely make some noise. But with the team that he has right now, I think the floor is just so low and the ceiling's not as high as it should be.
Yeah, I think before the season starts, this is our team pegged for first overall pick. I mean, in this league, it's 7th place, and you get the first overall pick, so he's pegged at it. So really strong team for it.
Yep.
Next on our list, number 8, Stonewall Your Face, ranked like 8 last week as well. So
That's right. We thought that his quarterback and wide receivers are good. Running backs are a huge question mark with Marlon Mack. There's some news today that came out, Indianapolis, where they said that Marlon Mack was going to take the lion's share, and they're just using Jonathan Taylor to spell Marlon Mack. So in the beginning of the season, I think he's still going to be a solid running back, but as the ceiling goes on, I think he's going to get less and less points, and it's going to kind of go towards Jonathan Taylor because he's just so talented. I think Antonio Gibson is a great pickup. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, yeah, I've got Jonathan Taylor pegged for like 12 to 15 touches max this week, and I hope he makes magic of it. So
yeah, totally agree. I think Antonio Gibson's going to be the workhorse in Washington. He started his college career as a wide receiver, and then they moved him to running back, and a lot of people think he's undersized. But the dude's 235 pounds. He's going to be able to run through the tackles, and I think they're just going to feed him the ball. They're just trying to keep it quiet, and they've been trying to just kind of direct news outside of it because I think they're trying to make sure that teams don't prepare for him.
Yeah, definitely. Our 9th team on the list was 10th in our last rankings, Yankee Raiders.
Yeah, what we discussed is strong running backs and tight ends, and not much after that, except for his IDP. He's got solid IDP, and you just kind of, again, it's not a team that wows you. I think it's a middling ceiling and a low floor, and that's kind of the hallmark of these bottom end teams that are in our power rankings. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree completely. And our consensus last is 10th. Lincoln's Renegades, who was 9th in our last power rankings, has dropped a little with a kind of a piss poor draft. So
yeah, I agree. It's what we were discussing up above. I mean, the only good things about this team are the quarterback and the IDP, and poor Joe Mixon standing there on an island with all the rest of the offensive players. So there's just way too much that went.
Tag.
It's great tag. Absolutely. And then after the draft, there's just too much that went wrong with the rest of his players that had some potential. They all just went the wrong way. I'd just like to say a fun note is in the team rankings on Yahoo, the first place team is SC Slave Runners, and the last place team are my Boston Teabaggers. So, so the hosts are bookending the entire league. So that should be a lot of fun.
Don't worry, I'm right down there with you at 9.
That's right.
Yeah, Yahoo sure does know how to do those rankings, right? So it's kind of funny. But so thanks for marching with us today. Moving forward, we plan to have an episode available weekly. We're going to try once a week to put an episode after the waivers, but before the Thursday game. We'll be adding some fun segments as King of the Week, biggest blowouts, and we're going to have best treasure hunters for those amazing waiver wire grabs. Very excited for this season, and we can't wait to have it in full swing. Thanks again for marching with us, and as always,
stay vigilant, soldiers.